It's Tuesday. Tuesday, we always talk about love, and sometimes you forget self-love is part of the love. You know, actually, it's the base of it all. No self-love, believe me, you will never know true love. You don't believe me? Maybe you'll believe the coach. He's on the line. He went to school to tell you the same thing. Right, Coach Wyde?
That's right. Years and years of school to tell you the same thing Nikki's telling you.
He said it so bitterly.
Not at all.
Right. Hey, Coach Wyde, I'm coming to your neighborhood next weekend.
I heard. Big show in town, right? Big show in town.
Dex the Dabs. You know the Dex the Dabs. Hide your wife. Hide your daughters that's of age. Hide both of them. Even hide your grandma sometimes, because Dexter really don't have no filter, and he will grab.
Not partial.
Yes, he's not partial. He doesn't care, and he doesn't care how many men you've had, because he says, "Oh, when you have 10 man, me I got 11." Of course I'm hosting. I'm going to be even worse. No, but I love that, Coach Wyde, because a lot of men don't really say things like Dexter says it in the song, and it's almost empowering for women to remind women it is okay for you to be secure in your sexuality. You know what I mean? I think Jamaica needs to put to rest that whole saying of, "You file dirty." Every last one of y'all files out there is dirty if we really want to be honest about it. Just saying.
You know, there's so many relationships where people live in that person's relationship in the past, and they try to live through what that person went through, and they stay there. But, you know, the past is in the past for a reason. We have to learn from it and move forward. And you can't condemn someone for something that they went through. Everyone's been on their journey.
Exactly.
And that was just that person's journey. So why condemn them?
I think it's just, honestly, I think it's really a black culture thing, because I went to a predominantly white school from 3rd grade to graduation, and like the way they theorized it in my area where I went to school was, hey, you free to do what you want to do until it's time for you to get married. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just different cultures see things differently, and it's very weird, you know? Kind of.
It's understood in our culture. You just don't talk about it. That's the thing. It's understood that you're doing certain things, or you're probably going to be promiscuous in certain ways. We just don't want to know what your body count is. You have to keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
While you're right, in other cultures, you talk about it, and then in some cultures, you'll get killed for it.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. That's absolutely. Well, you as a woman, usually not the man.
Not the man, no. I mean, I'm saying unfortunately, but it's not the man. It's always the woman.
And right now we're in a scary place because they're trying to take away women's right to choose again. They were under the quiet, trying to put through this Roe versus Wade, repeal, whatever the heck they're trying to do. But it came out to light, and now people know. So we're gonna see what happens with that. If men got pregnant, we wouldn't even be here, and pro-choice wouldn't even be an option. They'd be like, yo, abortion is available at your nearest gas station. Just pull up, drive through.
Pull up to the nearest CVS, and they'll get it taken care of for you. If there was ever, if you think about this, if there's ever even the thought of a law that controls any part of a man's body, it would be blown to shreds. It wouldn't even get to the reading floor or anything of that sort.
Wouldn't.
Anything. That's because who controls the Senate? And you know what's interesting about that? Most of those people that's in there, I will say this loud and proud on the top of a hill. Most of them, their wives and their daughters and their granddaughters are first in line to get abortions anyway.
Absolutely. You know that's right, because they don't want to shame their daddy. So don't even play that. And by the way,
who do you think is driving them there? Daddy's the one driving them there.
They ain't telling nobody, of course.
It's being done in the bathroom or in the back room or in someone's basement.
Look, let me tell you something. To all my listeners out there, anywhere that they want to outlaw abortion, first of all, we got to fight for that, right? Because that's just not something that should happen. But secondly, you can order your after pills online. So try to do that. And just remember that it's a possibility that you can actually get them online up to a certain amount of time. So anyhow, the law comes.
Let's start by saying the first things first is practice
protect yourself. Safe sex.
Right.
Or better yet,
if you're not ready, if you're not in the position, if you don't want to, do what you need to do to prevent. So we never have to worry about this Roe versus Wade.
I know that's right. Before you have sex with somebody, take a good hard look at them and say, self, do I want this as a baby daddy? Or self, do I want this as a baby mama? You might not be as turned on anymore. I'm just saying.
Those aren't even the ones I'm worried about more so, Nikki. It's the people who don't have a choice. It's the incestual relationships.
That
it's the
is
people who have those are the ones that this law is going to affect the most.
Exactly.
Right?
Victim of rape, incest, all of these things. You know, all these things are being affected. But for me personally, it shouldn't be anybody's choice but the individual person. Period. Right. Point blank. End of story. Pro-choice. And this hopefully will not go through. And we just didn't even go on the topic. Let's go on the topic now. So
all right.
Right. So we're talking about self-love today, and it's so important. So important. I've been telling my listeners, what you follow is like what you are, what you eat. You kind of become what you follow. Would you agree with that, and explain further as to why or why not you do or do not?
If what you eat is who you are, is that
no,
the question?
No. No, I was saying how people normally say things like you are what you eat. Like
okay, I got you.
For me, you also have the tendency to become what you follow. And I was asking you, do you agree or don't agree, and why?
You don't want to know where my mind went, because I'm like, okay.
Hey, I had no problem.
Listen. Here's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
What you do. I used to coach basketball, Nikki. When I coached basketball, I always used to say to the kids, whatever you do in practice is what you will do in the real game.
Yeah.
However you fool around in practice, whatever you mess around with, all of that stuff, when it comes to game time, that's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's the same lesson for life. However you treat yourself now, whatever you're going through right now are the benefits you're going to reap of it. Mm-hmm. So if you hang around yourself with negativity, with negative friends, negative people, and all of that stuff, you will breed and draw negativity in your life. And when you're ready to get into the real world, you'll be wondering why it's so hard to detach yourself from what you've been doing this entire time. So the journey that you're on right now, whatever road you're on, just make it the one that you want to be. Because if not, make a left turn, make a right turn, go somewhere else. Yeah. You're going to reap whatever you sow, as the saying goes. So the simple thing is, be the change you want to see. Mm-hmm. If you want to see a change in your life, start living that change now. If you have a bad mind friend that you know is not helping you out, get rid. If you have a spouse right now that's not helping you, get rid. If you're around family members who are bringing you down, get rid. And it really does boil down to that. You have to make the changes that you need to move forward.
But in terms of your timeline, because we're really focusing today, especially on the social media, because so many people are on social media. And a lot of people, they might follow the sensationalism. So let me be more pointed in the next point. Like, say, for instance, I'm a person that follows a lot of the Real House of whatever you call those shows. And whatever that is. And most of the people that come down my timeline are people living the Birkin bag, fake body, type of lifestyle. Does that affect my way of thinking and going forth if I'm on a journey to self-love? I'm more concerned about what people are feeding into their timeline. What's your feedback on that?
I 100% agree with you. Yeah. We sometimes are in a position where mentally we're just not where we need to be and where we want to be. And so in order to cleanse and get to where you need to be, you have to take away certain things out of your life. Now, I'm the type, I can sit down and watch a Basketball Wives, I can watch this, that, and the other, and then I can turn around and watch one of the most educational shows that comes out as well. Yeah. My mentality is such that I've cleansed myself to the point that I don't feed into that anymore. Right. And I can watch it for the comedy that it is and not be drawn into it. You have to have self-awareness, though, to be able to do that. If you know you're not in a good place, if you know you're struggling with depression, if you know you're struggling with substance abuse, if you know you're struggling with shopping, if you know you're struggling with buying things, and why do you have these things on your timeline? These won't help you. If you're trying to move yourself ahead in more positive space as well, these negative things, because let's face it, there might be comedy, but they're also negative. Because they're telling you that you're not where you should be. I am better than you is what a lot of these shows are saying. Right. Even though they're arguing and fighting on Basketball Wives or this, that, they're still opulent. They're living in a huge house, driving fancy cars. And a lot of times
that usually isn't theirs, let's be honest.
It's not even, they can't even afford it.
No.
But a lot of times people watch these shows, Nikki, and you know what? During the moment, they're laughing and they're engaged and they're having fun. And then after the show's done, how come I don't have all of those things?
Exactly.
What can I do to get that? And then they start thinking about things that they can do. Maybe I go back to school, get a better job. That's going to take too long. Maybe if I just go talk to Mr. Jim around the corner and, give him a little something that I can get. And people start in negotiating.
Yep, fast
maybe
cash.
if I go in and start selling this or selling that, maybe if I buy this, if I buy that, they start negotiating
Go
and
find
finding
a sugar daddy.
and they try to find ways out of it. So it is very toxic. The timeline that you have can be very toxic. And if you're watching it and if you're living vicariously through all these people, it doesn't help to push you. It sometimes further brings you down and depresses you and makes you stay in a state wondering how come, why not, why is this? You can't get out of that.
Absolutely.
The cleanse has to happen.
A cleanse has to happen. And on the flip side, while we're talking about self-love and self-actualization, all of these things, I was also speaking to my listeners about the fact that I will judge someone if I plan on dating them based on what they follow. I mean, because I personally, and once again, I'm asking your feedback, I'm just saying how I see it, but I personally, if I am talking to a guy and I happen to see his suggested posts on his Instagram, like I said, and all that's being suggested are chicks bent over or half naked, in my head, I'm going to tell myself, you're not going to be somebody I want to stay with because clearly your interests are on the outside for the most part. You know what I mean? So like for me, I'm very judgy when it comes to that.
And I understand why. By nature, as human beings, we're pre-programmed to be judgmental.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it. And that's because we're animals. We judge everything to see if it's a threat or not.
Yeah.
And so we've evolved from the point of saying, is it a threat that is going to eat me, to now, is it a threat that's going to devour me and devour me in a different way? Right? Is this threat going to harm me psychologically, mentally? Am I going to waste my time? Are they going to hurt me emotionally? And that's the threat that you're now assessing when you look at that person. And you may not be thinking about it in the threatening kind of way to say, is this person a threat? But subconsciously, that's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah.
Is this person going to threaten my lifestyle? Are they going to threaten the things that I'm trying to accomplish?
They're going to threaten my peace.
Your peace. And that's what we do. And so people have to realize, and I said this to someone before, that, you know, the things that you have on your timeline says something about you.
It does.
And she said, but that's not who I am, really. I just find them funny. I said, well, who knows that?
Yourself.
Who knows that? Well, I know that, but what about the other people that are out there? Do they know that? Same with artists. There's some artists who put out salacious songs and this, that, and the other. And in their life, they're really mild-mannered and chill, and that's not what but that's what they put out. So when they meet fans and friends, everyone assumes they're that person and that they're that character, when in actuality, it's just a show. Yeah. It's just something they put on. And so you do have to realize that you become what you portray, whether you intend to or not.
Whether you intend to or not. But on that flip side with the actors and stuff, I bet you if you look at their timelines not going to reflect the character that they're playing, that everybody sees them as. A lot of really artistic people, they completely detach from those type of things.
Exactly.
Because they need to keep their peace. You can't keep your peace, especially as a young lady growing up, is if your timeline is full of a bunch of women that are being over-sexualized to entice men, because you're going to constantly feed into your head that this is how I get a man. This is how I get a man. Like every single thing you follow is important. I stopped following a lot of artists because they kept doing these challenges that kept leading my timeline down this hole of girls just bent over in my screen, and I'm smelling farts for like an hour of scrolling. It's just farts and queefs, and I'm just like, this is not what I want for my timeline. So I stopped following a lot of them. So yeah.
Farts and what?
Queefs.
Okay, gotcha.
Google it. Anyway,
I know what it is.
I know you do. I know. I'm talking to the person in the car going, what? I'm talking to them. I'm talking to them, coach. I'm talking to them.
Google it. You got to, actually, no, maybe don't. Maybe.
Yeah, don't Google
Live in the ignorance. Live in the ignorance.
I can't. Coach Wyde is on the line. Give us some last tidbits of how to make our social media more palatable if we're on a journey to self-love.
You know, the value others place on you is based on the value you place on yourself.
Yeah.
And that really is going to be very pivotal in how you look at the other things. What value are you putting out there? And how are you telling people to treat you? Because you decide to tell, how people treat you by how you let them treat you and what you portray out there. Yeah. If you're putting out, as you say, girls bending over this, that, and the other, and then you trying to get into a relationship with someone, they're probably going to judge you based on that. And they're going to judge your character based on that. And if you say, I am not that person, well, that's who you told me that you are.
Exactly.
So the value that person is placed on you is based on the value you placed on yourself.
Yep.
This is what I value. This is what I put out in the world. And so other people are going to be attracted to it.
Yeah.
So I say this to couples and to single clients all the time that come to me, and I say, look at your timeline and tell me, would you date you? Would you date the person who is portraying all of these things? And if the answer is no, then why do you expect other people to want to date you as well?
Exactly.
So cleanse your life, cleanse yourself up, look at what you're putting out there, and then figure out, is this a true representation of who I am? Or is it just an image that I'm trying to portray?
Absolutely.
And if it's an image you're trying to portray, then you need to get on that journey of discovery to find out who you are and start loving that person, start being in tune with that person.
Amen. Start loving that person, start being in tune with that person. And just in case you're one of those people who are listening and going, well, I'm not going to let nobody see my phone, so I'm not going to see my timeline. Wrong. Because all it takes is for somebody to follow your page, and then their suggested post let them know that this video was suggested because you follow ... So it actually trails over. So
there's nothing private anymore, right?
Nothing is private anymore.
In social media, in the world, in the internet, I hear people say, but I deleted it. It's still out there.
It's still there.
It's still out there.
It's still there. So choose your journey and choose it wisely. And I don't know if Coach Wyde will agree with this last thing I'm going to say, because I'm going to give him the last word. But I also firmly, 100, indubitably believe that if you constantly feel that you're in mix-up, you're probably the one that's the mix-up person. So
I say it all the time. There is one common denominator in all the issues that are going on around you. And that's you.
Exactly.
It's you. That's it.
You're always finding someone that cheats.
All the ex-girlfriends that you've been with, all the drama that you've been around, all the friends that love to argue and fight. One common denominator, and that's
you. So if you want your life to change, it starts with you. And if you want to clean up your timeline, one great place to start is with Coach Wyde at 2 Steps Forward. Coach, where can people find you?
Yeah, find me online. As Nikki's saying, Take 2 Steps Forward is my Instagram. Take2stepsforward.com is the website. You can always reach out to me there. I get a lot of feedback, a lot of people reaching out, asking questions. I don't mind them. I love them. So by all means, take 2 steps forward. Find me.
All right. Well, make sure you check him out, follow him on social media, and we will talk to you next week. And I'm gonna see you next weekend. We gonna turn up.
Right. Let's do it.
Hey, bring wifey. She gonna love Dexter. Yeah, Dexter Daps.
Hey, that's why I'm not bringing her.
That ain't even right, Coach Wyde. Oh my God. I told you men gonna be hating on Dexter, because Dexter gonna walk out singing this right here and everybody gonna be mad. It's the Bridge 99. They gonna be with their boyfriend and he gonna start singing this and they gonna run to the front of the stage.